sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Oh, it's starting already, and it's a Monday. Oh, Lordy be. Just click on the chat room, join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and leave a comment, as my daughter constantly tells me when she's here. My daughter's been in the Pocono visiting her grandparents, and I missed a little booger butt. So, if you want to support the show, if you want to support the boys in blue, you want to show, especially my brothers, the firefighters and EMS, if you want to show your support, we got 2 different shirts now available. We have the thin blue line flag, and we have it's the red meets blue sticking together shirt. Emergency services sticking together and standing up for each other, protecting each other. Go to Reaver.one/shop. That's REAVER.ONE/SHOP. Pick up a couple of shirts. I got a lot of deals out there. And when you go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, there is even a coupon code that you can get. And we do have a little bit of breaking news. Baltimore Police Lieutenant Brian Rice found not guilty on all charges tied to the death of Freddie Gray. I believe that is the 3rd officer that has been found not guilty on this witch hunt. 2 of the most serious charges have been against, I believe it's Lieutenant Brian Rice and the officer before, who was the driver of the van, that the prosecutor assumed was driving erratically and brake checking and trying to injure Freddie Gray. And she got made to look like a total horse's ass when it came out. Surprise. There's a video inside the van. There's cameras inside the van. And it showed he was driving so gently that he was taking wide turns that he would actually go into the other lane as to make a wide arc, giving a easy ride to the people that were in the back. So, between that and reports that he was banging his head, and Freddie Gray had already been known to injure himself in custody so that he could sue, he had just very recently had a fusion in the neck, the cervical spine area. And he was still at a stage where not everything was healed up. And yes, I do know, because I did have a fusion on my neck. And it takes months before everything is really up and going real good. So yes, he could have injured himself to the point of, well, severing his own spinal cord. Everybody jumped to conclusion, and this is funny because I watched Don Lime get in a heated exchange with Sheriff David Clark, and he's telling David Clark not to jump to conclusions. But wait a minute. they are jumping to conclusions left, right, and center. They're jumping to conclusion all the time about these officers being guilty right off the bat. That these officers shot innocent people. Hands up, don't shoot. They jump to conclusions. So, Sheriff David Clark saying that Obama's rhetoric is causing the police violence. That this shooting that happened yesterday, this ambush in Baton Rouge, is tied to the Black Lives Matter rhetoric. Don Line goes freaky and doesn't want anything until the facts are in. When it comes to the pointing out that the Black Lives Matter is a hate group, oh, you want to wait till all the facts are in. But when it comes time to land-based police, Don Line is the first one to jump up and scream that the police are murdering blacks, even though none of the facts back it up. They get in an argument over a Harvard study, and yes, I did read it, and it says that there's no correlation with any of the numbers that say the blacks are endangered of police shootings, that actually whites are more endangered. And Don Line tries to say, no, it says the opposite. And when everything's brought out, then it was, well, the study was a small sample. It's been debunked. Well, a minute ago, you were saying it backed up your fact, and you were wholehearted for that Harvard study. But when you had an educated person that's willing to speak up and totally tore your myth apart, then it's, oh, that study didn't have a large enough sample. Here, I got as much as I hate playing CNN, we can do it today. Just this once. And it's about 5 minutes worth.
You're set to speak tomorrow night, and again, all I want to do is have a conversation. I can't have a conversation with you if we're both talking at the same time. What it sounds like to me is that you're...
But he had no problem talking over David Clark when he was speaking.
A narrative that I'm not necessarily in support of. And if that's what you're accusing me of violence, then you can leave. That's not true. I don't support violence of any type.
For those that haven't seen this, you got to watch it because David Clark just has this look like you're a dumbass.
But if you want to have a
conversation,
I'm more than willing to welcome a conversation with you. I don't disagree with you about there is a narrative across the country that could be harming police officers. But we don't know right now, as someone who's in law enforcement, if that was the actual cause of it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do we know that generally the American law enforcement officers are racist? Do we know this?
Go on.
I asked a question.
Do I know American general law enforcement are racist? I don't think anyone is accusing. If you're insinuating that people are accusing or saying that law enforcement across this country as a whole are racist, then your assumption is wrong.
No, it isn't, because right there I'm going to stop it, because we had a president come out and say that the police force is inherently racist. Obama came out and said those words, that the police force is inherently racist.
First of all, this whole anti-police rhetoric is based on a lie. There is no data, and you know this. There is no data, there is no research that proves any of that nonsense. None. Even
you'd have to be more specific about what data and what nonsense you're talking about.
That law enforcement officers treat black males different than white males in policing in these urban centers.
There is data that supports.
There is not data.
No, the president spoke about it. Cedric Alexander, who is a law enforcement officer. The president has been lying about it. He said it again the other day when he said black males are 2 times more likely to be shot by a law enforcement officer than white males. Don, that is a lie. That is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Yes.
Show me.
Research.
Show me.
The research
Show
that we have from the Washington Post, that the Washington Post debunked that nonsense.
There's also research.
He also said
Sheriff,
this time.
There's also research.
He continues.
A Harvard professor that also showed that black people are treated more aggressively by police officers.
No, you are wrong in your interpretation of that Harvard study. Because
see right there, he's the Harvard study says
it. He said he was surprised to find
that in shootings of the most severe in shootings that he found no evidence that there was a difference. Also, it should be noted that that study was a very small sampling.
See right there, now he's got, oh my God.
Many people did not find it credible.
The study is going on the opposite of what I just said. I look like an idiot.
That blacks were treated differently when it came to aggressive policing, but for the most egregious shootings, he found no difference. That's what that study showed.
Well, based on what? Just generally? Are we talking about high crime areas? Are we talking about police officers being under attack? Because let's go back to where this whole thing started in Ferguson, Missouri. The lie was hands up, don't shoot.
Lumping a whole bunch of things into one. If we can do one specific
That's
thing
where this whole phony movement started. It started out as hands up, don't shoot.
You're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, you would need to speak to someone who is a member of Black Lives Matter about whether they have perpetrated a fraud on the American people. That's up to Black Lives Matter. That's not me. I'm neither a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm neither a supporter or someone who doesn't support them. I simply report on Black Lives Matter.
Do you condemn the anti-police rhetoric coming from this hateful ideology?
As a journalist sitting here on television, I don't have to condemn anyone, anything. That is something that you should ask. Other people around the country,
I condemn
their jobs to condemn
just
that.
Like I condemn the hateful ideology out of groups like the KKK. All right? I condemn it. There is no place in American discourse for that sort of vile, vitriolic hate coming out of this ideology. This has fueled and fanned the flames of this anger toward the American police officer. There's only one group in America, one time, that truly cares about the lives of black people in these urban ghettos. And it's the American police officer who goes down there on a daily basis, puts their life on the line to protect who? Black people. So when you say we just want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about the black-on-black crime, which kills more black males, which is more of a threat to any black male in the United States than a law enforcement officer.
Sheriff. Yes, that's a different conversation.
Uh-oh. He brought up the black on black. And then it's, that's a different conversation. We don't want to speak about that now, do we? No. We don't want to speak about black on black crime. No. We can't do that. Taboo. We can't show that. What is it? 97% of black violence is from fellow black. Oh, we can't talk about that. Nope. Especially if you're white. You do that. Oh, you are racist. You a racist. But they want to blame all their problems on anybody and everybody else. And I, for one, am tired of it. The shooting that happened yesterday, whether directly or indirectly, is linked to Black Lives Matter rhetoric. And I am tired of it. I'm tired of our president inviting these hate groups, these terrorist groups. And when I say terrorist groups, I'm talking about the Brotherhood of Muslims, or whatever the hell it is, the Muslim Brotherhood. That's the terrorist group I'm talking about. You have several Muslim terrorist groups that have been linked directly to terrorism that are in the White House all the time. And then you have Obama inviting the Black Lives Matter and talking how great the movement has been. The movement has been responsible for destruction of private property, The movement has been responsible for God knows how many cops now being shot, how many being wounded, how many being killed. And it's more than the 3 from yesterday, the 5 from Dallas. There's more than that. There's ones that aren't making the news because it's not newsworthy. It doesn't make the sensationalism. I'm just... I am absolutely... I'm exhausted. I am exhausted with this rhetoric. And that's what they're hoping for. They want to wear us down. They're going to keep beating on us and beating on us and beating on us until they hope that we give up. Just because I'm tired doesn't mean I'm giving up. Every time they ambush these police officers, my brothers, it might be tiring, but at the same time, it reinvigorates me to want to fight even more. You have D-Ray, is it? Working some special job with Baltimore school system, getting paid, what is it? $125,000, $165,000 a year. He's living in this large house that he doesn't even pay for. It's directly linked to George Soros. He works for a school system that says they don't care that he just got arrested. And to show you the disgusting, vile attitude of Black Lives Matter, they were protesting last night in the area, the direct area where those cops were ambushed. Yeah, that didn't hit the news too big, did it? Because that would give a negative light and the true light to the Black Lives Matter. They were protesting where those officers were ambushed. And you want to tell me that they don't have an anti-police? They're trying to spread that because, well, they don't want that negativity around them. They want to be able to spew their lies. And I'm starting to wonder, some of these people that are supposed to be conservatives, supposed to be Republicans. Shepard Smith, I'm getting so sick of his mouth. He had Bobby Jindal call in yesterday, and Bobby Jindal kept saying that all lives matter, that we got to get to that all lives matter. Cops, blacks, whites, brown, pink, purple, green. It doesn't matter. Sunday following the shooting in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that resulted in the deaths of 3 police officers, Fox News Channel Shepard Smith interviewed former Governor Bobby Jindal, formerly a 2016 GOP presidential nominee. Throughout the interview, Jindal kept using the phrase, all lives matter, which drew a rebuttal from Smith. Governor, you know that phrase you just used is one that is seen by many as derogatory, right? I just wonder why it is that you use that phrase when there is a certain segment of the population that believes it is a real dig on them. Well, Shepard Smith, I would have to say there's more that find it acceptable. I find Black Lives Matter to be a racist statement. All lives matter. And don't tell me it's just to talk about the violence against black. No, it isn't. It's a rhetoric about this myth that police are going after blacks specifically. And none of the data backs it up. It's a bunch of criminals, and that's what it's been. All these cases that they've been, basing their whole cases on. You have Ferguson. You have Baltimore. The Minnesota. And the Louisiana case. And they all have one thing in common. A rap sheet longer than my arm. All of them were criminals. I don't see them protesting that a black officer got killed yesterday. Oh, they were protesting the police last night again. But they weren't protesting that a black officer got murdered. I guess his life, I should say, did not matter. So this Black Lives Matter is just a hate group. And there's case after case after case after case I could show of the Black Lives Matter just being hate group, that they're against police. It is tiresome. How many more lives have to be lost over this hate group? Obama spoke last night too, and his body language, oh my God. His body language just was... You could tell he was pissed that he had to give that speech. He was not happy. He just, But he did want to try to stop some of the, he tried to intercede on what would happen. Because exactly what he said, well, what he doesn't want done, happened. Trying to pull it up. Dang it. Trying to pull up the video. I had it last night right on this site, and now it's not there anymore. Give me 1 second. Tell you what, it's actually that time. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising, YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, and I know I'm missing a few, but we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We're always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.1. Click on the live stream. Don't forget to hit subscribe, as I can't remember what the word is. And keep up to date. Also, gotta leave a comment, or my daughter gives it to me both barrels. If you want to support the show, support SHR Media, or if you want to support the emergency services, go to Reaver.1/shop. That's REAVER.ONE/SHOP. I got a couple of new shirts up that are supporting police, supporting the brothers in blue, the sisters in blue. From those of us in red, I guess you could say. Check it out. I know, I suck as a salesman. I never been good at sales. Me no good. Me no good. You no buy, you go now. No ticky, no washi. I guess that's going to get me some hate mail. Remember, all hate mail goes to crash@reaver.1. One of these days, he's going to kill me for my antics. All right, I'm going to play Obama's speech on Baton Rouge. I don't want to, but I know I should. Oh.
Good afternoon, everybody. As all of you know now, this morning, 3 law enforcement officers in Baton Rouge were killed in the line of duty. 3 others were wounded. One is still in critical condition.
He has a face like, oh, man. Do I have to do this? I really don't want to be here. I don't want to talk about this. I can't blame racism on the cops for this.
Condition. As of right now, we don't know the motive of the killer. We don't know whether the killer is set out to target police officers or whether he gunned them down as they responded to a call.
Yeah, that's already been discussed, that there was a fake 911 call given that pulled them into that area. It was called, they could call it an ambush for a reason, the police are. There's no facts backing up that this was against, you moron. And I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, people, but he is a flippin' moron.
Regardless of motive, the death of these 3 brave officers under...
This is going back to the Orlando shooting. We do not have the motive of the shooter. Sir, he called up and said he was part of ICE. We do not have the motive of the shooter. We may never know. Sir, we have a shooting in Dallas. 5 cops have been murdered. We may never know of why and the motive of the shooter. Sir, he was yelling that he wanted to kill cops and white people. We may never know the motive. This guy doesn't know the motive unless it's the police force and is inherently racist.
Scores the danger that police across the country confront every single day. And we as a nation have to be loud and clear that nothing justifies violence against law enforcement. Attacks on police are an attack on all of us.
Except when I throw a match that helps the violence erupt.
Earlier this afternoon, I spoke with Governor Edwards and Mayor Holden.
And laughed at them.
The full support of the federal government and reiterated my full support for law enforcement in Baton Rouge and for police officers across the country. I also spoke to the Attorney General.
In support for police across the country as he, made false accusations against them just a couple days ago.
Justice will be done.
Have you ever noticed whenever Obama says justice will be done, nothing ever happens? 2 quick examples, IRS. We will make sure justice is done. Benghazi, we will make sure justice is done. Every scandal I've heard, justice will be done, and nothing happens.
Most of all, our hearts go out to the families who are grieving. Our prayers go out to the officer who's still fighting for his life. This has happened far too often.
Yeah, Kelly says the same thing over and over again.
This past week.
And right now, CNN, right before it came on the air, they were poking fun at Trump because he said the body language coming from the president. I was watching this last night, and I played it. We did a special broadcast for the shooting. And I played this, and I said the same thing, his body language. And I didn't even know Trump made that statement, so I'm not copycat. Just, you look at his body language and his face, he just has this, I don't fucking want to be here. I got to do this. I don't want to be sitting here talking about cops and congratulating them. He's got this long face like a child being made to do something they don't want. And, of course, instead of, just leaving it about the police, he's going to go into rhetoric about politics in a minute. So, because he knows this is going to hurt Hillary, it's going to hurt the Democrats. So he's got to chastise the Republicans, not to point the fingers. He's got to chastise them. Nope, you don't blame us for this. It's not good. You don't blame us.
I'm surrounded by the best of the best every single day.
I'm surrounded by a bunch of cops, but yet I keep throwing them under the bus.
Day. And I know whenever this happens, wherever this happens, you feel it. Your families feel it. But what I want you to know today is the respect and the gratitude of the American people for everything that you do for us. And 5 days ago, I traveled to Dallas for the memorial.
And I talked about racism of cops and how great Black Lives Matter is, even though I was there for the memorial of 5 police officers.
Service.
Oh, can't forget, I talked about gun control, too. How guns are bad. We need to take guns away from people.
Officers in Baton Rouge were killed in the line of...
Hang on, I hit the wrong spot, damn it.
Enter a couple of weeks of conventions where our...
Sorry, I hit the wrong button and I totally screwed up.
The decision to make sure that our best selves are reflected across America. Not our worst. That's up to us. We have our divisions, and they are not new.
And here he goes.
Around-the-clock news cycles and social media sometimes amplify these divisions.
I'm going to blame media and Twitter because I've made bad decisions. I've called the police force inherently racist, and I've celebrated Black Lives Matter, but yet it's not my fault. It is Twitter's fault. It is Facebook, and it's Fox News' fault.
And I know we're about to enter a couple of weeks of conventions where our political rhetoric tends to be more overheated than usual. And that is why it is so important that everyone, regardless of race or political party or profession, regardless of what organizations you are a part of, everyone right now focus on words and actions that can unite this country rather than divide it further.
Where were those ideas when he came out and threw a match on a pile of gasoline while he was in Poland? Where was that idea of words matter? Just recently he said words do not matter. Am I wrong? I mean, I distinctly remember him saying that words do not matter. But now he wants to come out because it's going to paint him in a bad light. It's going to paint Hillary Clinton in a bad light. And we'll talk about Hillary Clinton in a few, too.
We don't need inflammatory rhetoric. We don't need careless accusations thrown around to score political points.
Because we don't want our reputation tarnished through our bogus actions. Please don't point the finger at us. But we can point the finger at you anytime we want.
Or to advance an agenda.
How many times has he done
Temper
that?
our words and open our hearts, all of us. We need what we saw in Dallas this week, as a community came together to restore order and deepen unity and understanding. We need the kind of efforts we saw this week in meetings between community leaders and police, some of which I participated in.
Where he labeled the police force as inherently racist. He is directly responsible for this. He was the reason this happened. No which way around it. He is the reason this happened. He shot his mouth off. And it's coming back to haunt him now. So now he doesn't want anybody talking about it. No, we can't talk about it on the political side. Just like with Don Line, we can't talk about black-on-black violence. We can only sit up here and spew the rhetoric of Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter has been celebrating, and thank you, Kel, for popping this up. Where is it? Marlin_X for Twitter. Armed pigs meet political consequences in Baton Rouge. Pigs in a blanket. Hashtag pigs in a blanket. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag BLM. With a bunch of laughing smiley faces. DJ Nio Da Vinci at FSNIYO feels good to see niggas knocking these pigs off. And I'm just repeating what these people write. 3 more pigs killed in Baton Rouge. That was by Rush LJR. Mr. Literal at SHCHTLE Benreal BENREAL laughing at the fact that they shot the Baton Rouge police. That is the only police department that I know deserves it, aside from DPD. I didn't know Dallas police did anything wrong. Not that I'm saying Baton Rouge did anything wrong. What is this? At DDORR8AM. Hashtag Baton Rouge. Hashtag Louisiana. Today, 3 pigs. And the next time will be 12, inshallah. One user wrote, put them pigs in a blanket with the Dallas hashtag and 2 emojis depicting a police officer with a gun to his head. Unfortunately, it wasn't more. But no, the Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with this. I can keep going on and on and on. It is all over Twitter of these scumbags praising police officers being shot. This isn't just 1 or 2. This is 1,000s. 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 1,000 And one thing I want to point out that I noticed when Don Lime from CNN was talking with Sheriff David Clark, Don Lime refused to condemn violence against police. He said that's not his job to condemn. You were asked the question, and you skirted it. You skirted it. I wonder how much money Baltimore's now going to lose. Sorry to change subject, but I'm looking through some stuff, and Baltimore's popping up. Now, you know, the top-ranking officer who was supposed to be get nailed the hardest has been found not guilty, as I announced earlier. But they have back pay that they owe these guys. They owe a massive amount of back pay. I hope the prosecutor's proud of what she did. Just going through the hashtags of Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray was never a racial incident. Another officer just exonerated. BLM sympathizers are killing based on lies. It all started with the hands up, don't shoot, which was a blatant lie that they still push to this day. Not saying fourth officer. I thought we were at third officer, but whichever. It's... I'm just at a loss for how stupid this, how low Democrats will go to push their point across. I'm just seriously at a total loss. I don't understand it. Everybody jumped to conclusions well before any of the facts are in. But you have Don Lime. No, I'm not going to speak about this shooting of the officer, this ambush of officer, until all the facts are in. But I'm going to sit up here as a journalist and lambaste the police officer and find him guilty before the bodies are even cold and anybody knows what the hell happened. I'm going to spew false information. It's just, I know news is going to report and they get stuff wrong. But they don't backtrack and apologize for the misinformation. They don't correct any of it. And they just go on like nothing's wrong. It's disheartening. And here, Black Harvard's economist finds no bias against blacks and police shooting. Sorry. Research conducted by a notable African-American economist at Harvard University has revealed a lack of racial bias in police shootings. The research was conducted by Roland G. Fryer, who is the youngest black professor to receive tenure status at Harvard. As Fryer expected, his research revealed that police are more likely to use force towards an African-American suspect. However, what Fry called the most surprising result of my career, his research also revealed that African-American suspects are less likely to be shot in an altercation with law enforcement than suspects of other racial backgrounds. According to the statistics used in Fryer's study, officers are more likely to fire their weapon without having first been attacked when the suspect is white. So officer-involved shootings in these cities, officers were more likely to fire their weapon without having first been attacked when the suspects were white. Black and white civilians involved in police shootings were equally likely to have been carrying a weapon. Both of these results undercut the idea that police wield lethal force with racial bias. Freyer's research analyzed more than 1,000 shootings in 10 major police departments: Houston, Austin, Dallas, Los Angeles, as well as Orlando and Jacksonville were among the cities included in the study. When the law enforcement data from Houston was isolated specifically, Fryer was able to conclude that law enforcement officers were significantly less likely to shoot black suspects. In tense situation, officers in Houston were about 20% likely to shoot a suspect if the suspect was black. This estimate was not very precise, and firmer conclusion would require more data, but in a variety of models that controlled for different factors and used different definition of tense situations, Mr. Fryer found that blacks were less likely to be shot, or there was no difference between blacks and whites. The conclusion drawn by this research contradicts most of the narrative that is playing out in the media about police brutality. Most major media outlets have been sympathetic to the cause of Black Lives Matter, an activist movement that exists specifically to combat racially motivated aggression towards African American by law enforcement officers. And this is where the Democrats, doing what they do of kissing ass, jump behind it and have supported it and promoted it. Democrats will do anything and throw anybody under the bus as long as it helps their career. That's all they care about. Although Freyer's research supports the claim of law enforcement's overuse of force towards African American suspects, his conclusion that law enforcement officers do not disproportionately discharge their firearms at black suspects should turn some heads. Perhaps the Black Lives Matter movement should be asked to reconcile these revelations with their loud response to tragic shooting deaths of Alton, Sterling, and Castile that occurred last week. And now they're saying the one gentleman that was on the ground fired shots. He was the one that fired the original shots, and that's what caused the officers to shoot. It's, as facts come out, things are getting a little different than what the media portrayed it. And the same thing in Ferguson. He had his hands up, his back turned, and they shot him. He was kneeling on the ground, hands up, and the officer walked up and shot him. All the facts have shown that not to be true. But the media ran with that false narrative and caused all the issues that proceeded. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising, iTunes, YouTube, and Speaker. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We are always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying confidence, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless, but when we're talking Democrats, well, nothing makes sense. I'm looking at Cleveland. They're broadcasting live outside, and the wind just, picked up majorly with all the women outside, and their hair is whew. It's a twister. It's a twister. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. Don't forget to hit subscribe on that live stream. And if you want to support the show, support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one/shop. That's REAVER.one/SHOP and pick up some T-shirts. We have some great Second Amendment T-shirts. We have the new and improved Reaver Common Sense logo T-shirt. We have the Thin Blue Line flag T-shirt. Sticking Together, Fire EMS, supporting the police. So, came across a couple of articles during the break, and it's got me laughing. Over 100 nude women pose against Trump in Cleveland. More than 100 women stripped and posed naked with mirrors in Cleveland, answering a photographer's call to blend art with politics and portray Donald Trump as unfit for the White House. How in bloody blue blazes does standing there naked portray Trump as unfit? So a bunch of women want to get naked, and that's saying that Trump's unfit. They gathered on the eve of the Republican National Convention, where the brash New York billionaire will be anointed the party's nominee for president after winning a very difficult primary race, despite alarm from the party establishment and the country at large about his diversity. Country at large. 15 million people voted for him, but that's nothing. The photographer called him a loser, told AFP after the Sunrise shoot, in which 130 women took part. 100 of them will be featured in the picture to be unveiled shortly before the November 8th election. Again, how does a bunch of women posing naked say that he is unfit? How is it that a bunch of naked women holding mirrors say he's unfit? This is the biggest... it hurts my head. I love how people think they know what the hell they're talking about, and they push all this stuff. And they parrot so much of the mass media. These zombies just amaze me. Listen, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When he first got in it, I was not backing Trump. But as time went on, and his ideas are what won me over, his over-the-top attitude and all that does not bother me. It's... I'm used to it being from New Jersey. I mean, if you listen to my show regularly, you know I sometimes get that over-the-top mouth, too. It does not bother me. But a mother and daughter pose naked, and they're saying that their rhetoric and language shows the hate against women and minorities coming from the Republican Party. What rhetoric? What rhetoric says that the Republican Party hate women? Because we don't believe in murdering fetuses? We don't believe in murdering these little babies? That's not against women. That's actually, if you look at it, we're more worried about the women's health than anything. Is there a reason why someone might need an abortion? Yes. Every medical procedure, there's a reason why. But it damages the female's body extensively when you do that. And we're against immigrants? No, we're not. But we are a country of laws. I don't hear nobody condemning all the other countries that have walls. And don't tell me walls don't work. Kept China safe for how many years? Keeps the White House safe. All of our top politicians are building walls around their house to keep them safe. Your Democrat mouthpieces have them. Is it going to solve the illegal immigration 100%? No. Is it going to slow down? Yes. But having this porous border is also helping the cartels. It allows them to have illegal business of getting people across the border. And the list goes on about how bad it is. But if we secure the border, you can't go to this open borders crap that they're pushing. And that's what it comes down to. The Democrats do not want America anymore. They want a one-world nation. That's what it comes down to. Whether you want to call it NWO or New World Order, whatever you want to call it, that's fine with me. But they want to go this one-world nation, this globalization of all the governments coming together as one. And with that, you can't have borders. That is why they're against it now. Because just a couple years ago, Hillary was talking how we need to secure the border. Harry Reid was talking how we need to secure the border. So don't sit there and blow smoke up my backside and then tell me it's good for me. Now I can't find it. Crapple. Let me see if I can find that file. Because show commercial. There it is. Let's play a little clip. There it is. All right.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that, right? Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers?
That was Harry Reid not too long ago. But they want to push this open borders crap, and they can't have secure borders if they want that. One of the others I also came across was 17 years after the gun bans in Australia, police say gun crime is out of control in Australia. In 1996, Australia unloaded some of the most severe gun bans and gun confiscation programs on record. And for the guns that were not confiscated, gun owners were forced to enter into license agreements and have their guns registered so the government knew what guns everyone had. Well, they really only knew what guns the law-abiding had, since none of the criminals actually followed the program. Surprise, surprise. It was just reported on some interesting developments in Australia that proves all the anti-gun lawmakers wrong. Gun control does not take guns out of the hands of criminals. It only disarms the law-abiding while making everyone less safe. Because of this out-of-control crime, Australian law enforcement officials have been forced to carry out recent operations. The New South Wales Police Commissioner, Andrew Scapponi, had this to say about the spike in gun crime. There is no single source of gun violence. Guns have fallen into the hands of organized crime, outlaw motorcycle gangs, mid-level crime groups, and petty thieves, and lines are often blurred. So it looks like the only ones left with all the guns are the criminals. And the gun policies that Australia has enforced are the exact ones that gun control pushers like Mayor Michael Bloomberg and Senator Dianne Feinstein wants to see here in the United States. And you can add to that list, Hillary Clinton has said she would like to see gun control like Australia. Of course, they will ignore the real facts behind the issue and overlook the fact that when guns are banned, only the police and criminals will have guns, leaving citizens to fend for themselves when lawlessness, like we have seen in Australia, starts to rise up. In the last 12 months alone, over 3,300 people were charged with gun crimes, and over 9,000 guns have been confiscated. The lesson: gun control only affects the law-abiding gun owner. Criminals are empowered by it. The military expert says you should be hoarding these 37 things now before the coming crisis. He says store would empty their shelves in just 2 hours and will be impossible. That's something else. I'm sorry. The gun bans only affect the legal gun owners. And that's something these Democrats can't get through their head. And Democrats are supposed to be party of choice, party of tolerance. Talk about false advertisement. A detective has said, forget gun control, focus on criminal control. On July 14th, Texas Police Detective Nick Silby penned an op-ed in which he described gun control pushes as misplaced, arguing instead of criminal control. He pointed out that every high-profile attack post-Sandy Hook Elementary School has been followed by a gun control push from Obama. Yet the laws pushed are never realized, and in cities where such laws exist, no difference is made, such as in Chicago. Writing in the Washington Post, Shelby conceded that he and his fellow officers would like the levels of gun violence diminish, but he stressed that the way to do it is not via gun control, but criminal control, he wrote. Mass shootings remain outliers. 2/3 of gun deaths are suicide. The tyranny of everyday shooting, the 12,000 homicides a year that happen so regularly that some people don't even call 911 anymore, follow patterns completely divorced from the weapons used. These shootings have much more to do with reality of life for the poor, drug-addicted, mentally ill, and the criminal. He contended that the way to combat these 12,000 deaths is not via more laws, but a greater focus on criminals and or would-be criminals. He pointed out to a program in Richmond, California, where they identified the 50 most likely to shoot someone and engaged with them, even paying them to participate. So, that I don't agree with, because now we want to pay criminals not to commit crimes. He admitted the program took heat for paying participants, but observed that the program expanded between 2007 to 2012 without an expansion of funding. As it turns out, the money was not the most important part. He said the program allowed law enforcement and mentors to work with would-be criminals in a way that encouraged paths other than violence and criminality, without even taking their guns away from them. He continued, right, Americans need to think beyond guns and to confront the underlying social and economical problems that cause gun violence. Programs like these are proving it is possible to significantly reduce gun deaths without new gun control measures and without breaking the bank. It is a different approach. I say, how about we start enforcing the laws that we have on the books? We have a president and vice president that said we can't enforce them because we don't have the money or the manpower to enforce the current laws on the books. So their brilliant idea is to create new laws to put on the book that won't get enforced, that will just impede law-abiding citizens. Ay, 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 ay. Sometimes I wonder if people actually read what they're talking about. Let's see some. Trying to load something up. We have Carrie Donovan, who's a friend of the show, has been in the chat room plenty of times. She is at the convention right now. She was just going live for a moment. I was going to see if I could throw it on the show, but she already shut down real quick. She was just giving a quick glance around. So, in Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, there's a sign that says crossover, vote for Trump, ground zero, and Democrats are becoming Republicans now. And there's a lot of them. Now, I don't believe a single poll that's out there right now. I really don't. I'll wait till the polls get closer and they become a little bit more reliable. So, well, and I've been saying this a lot this weekend. These incidents with the police, these false narratives that are being run with about the police, that our current administration is helping to promote. They are helping to promote it. And you ask why. It's very simple. It goes right along with the AG Lynch announces global police force partnership with the UN. A proposal such as this, with all the various implications of an overreach of power, should be front-page news everywhere, but unfortunately, not many notice, and that's a concern to constitutional attorney Chris Ann Hall, who released a video to make the rallying cry. Long of the short of it is, our current government is pushing for a federal police force with the oversight of the UN. Hang on. This is something that Obama has been pushing for a little while now. He's been pushing this federal police force. Hillary is pushing for a federal police force. It's a consolidation of power. It's one more step towards globalization. And I never would have thought of it, believed it, until I started doing the show, started to look into stuff, and really paid attention. It boggles my mind. And so many people just do not realize what is going on. Sorry. It just boggles my mind. How nobody is picking up on this. Nobody is talking about this. And there's so many that think that this is a just one of those conspiracy theory tin hat. There's people that still think that the one world nation is a conspiracy theory. Even though it's right on the UN website. It's on all the access. They don't hide it. You have a few politicians that deny it, but for the most part, most don't. Obama doesn't. He's pushing for a North American Union, which is one step to the globalization. And yet nobody talks about it. And if we have a federal police force, it'd be so easy to then expand it during a North American Union. With oversight, of course, by the dictators of UN. UN was not supposed to be this ruling agency. It's trying to turn out to be dictator themselves. And I don't know what the solution is except to keep fighting it. And fighting it. But I can say this with ease. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense show right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and several others that I can't remember at this time. I never can. We will be right back. Oh, yes, I am a blonde, too.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. we've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be. And it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is. And that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We're always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here, we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and leave a comment. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one/shop. Thank you, Cal. That's Reaver.one/shop. We have from Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment T-shirts, all the way to pro-police T-shirts. Show your support for the Constitution. Show the law enforcement that you care about them and back them. Go to Reaver.one/shop. That's REAVER.ONE/SHOP. It's been a weird show, and I know it's been a little weird. Now, I get told that picture looks like a mugshot picture. I've been debating about growing my hair back in. I don't know. I might grow it in, grow it long again, and then donate it. I don't know. Go back and forth. I'm worse than a woman when it comes to my hair. Worse than a woman. So, all right. Rest of the show will be going without commercial break. So, yes, I get to torture you for the last, I want to say 50 minutes. Not 50, 20. How did I get 50 minutes out of 20? Just remember that the Reaver of Common Sense is basically the death of common sense. I wish my show was more talking about Reaver of Common Sense and the fact that common sense is the start of a revolution. And if you don't get that, you need to research common sense. Thomas Paine. He wrote a pamphlet that just, they say, is what got the backing for the revolution to really kick in gear. I'd rather be seeing that. And I'm not talking a violent revolution. We need to stand up and we need to put a boot in the ass of this government and take back control. I know as people we don't agree 100% on the government, but we all can agree that this government is out of control, and I mean out of control. Then again, some of these people, they want the government telling them what to do. They don't want no responsibility. They want no responsibility at all. And that boggles my mind. That's not what this country is about. This country is about freedoms. And I find funny the anti-gun is now trying to use that argument to go against guns and self-defense because they say you shouldn't be allowed to shoot someone that's trying to kill you because you're taking away their right to a trial. Well, your constitutional rights end when it infringes on my constitutional rights. And when you're trying to take my life and liberty away, your constitutional rights end. Something's got to give in this country. Something's got to give in a major way. It's, I don't know. For those that are trying to get in the chat room, if you notice on the bottom, you have to register or sign in with Facebook or Twitter. It's real easy. You don't get no junk mail, no nothing. It gives you a chat name so you can join in the conversation. So you can hit with your Facebook or your Twitter or, create a guest account. There's multiple options. And just jump in the conversation. If you want to ask me something, go ahead and ask me in the chat room. I will be more than glad to answer. And like I said, we were going to discuss this. Hillary Clinton's reaction to the Baton Rouge ambush on police officers 7 hours later. It took her 7 hours. And it blows my mind. 7 hours to come up with today's devastating assault on police officers in Baton Rouge is an assault on all of us. 7 hours for her to come up with that. And it allowed people really to run with it. Only if you tell me first, Kel. That could be bad. Don't. Time for something to drink. Funny. Actually, no, I'm wearing one of my Second Amendment shirts. I do several things with the shirts now. Now all of our shirts will have a gray flag on the left sleeve and a SHR Media a tiny symbol on the right sleeve. But on the front, this has two guns crossed. And it says Second Amendment. And it was just one of those moods for today for this shirt. But back to Hillary Clinton. 7 hours it took her. 7 hours. To come up with a statement. And it allowed these people really to run with it on Twitter. It was hilarious, some of how they made Hillary Clinton a joke. The AG, Lynch, POTUS, and Donald Trump are on record, but no signs of ARC, which was followed by hard to convene a focus group on a Sunday. And then everybody kind of jumped on that she needs focus groups because her last statement on the last shooting, when we got white people, we need to have a conversation here, and I'm willing to lead that conversations on the white people. And she threw white people underneath the bus, calling us racist. And it didn't go over well for her. So this time, in 7 hours, to come up with today's devastating assault on police officers in Baton Rouge and assault on all of us. Holy snake, I could have written a better response in 7 hours. And the comments, I mean, they just came in by a flood that she has to run it by focus groups first. Hillary Clinton stole crickets. Heartless Hillary is no leader, probably running her response through a focus group. Hillary Clinton must be running her Baton Rouge rogue statement through a focus group, still waiting. Dude, she went to bed a half hour ago. She'll comment in the morning. Her focus group just finished brunch. Check back after Bloody Marys. Waiting for focus group results, no doubt. There's no justification for violence, for hate, for attacks on men and women who put their lives on the line every day in service of our families and communities. I'm absolutely stunned. It took 7 hours for this response from Hillary Clinton. What happens if she's the president? It's going to take 7 hours for her to respond. We have been attacked. The POTUS should be out any moment now to speak. We are under current attack. Hour 3, as we wait for President Hillary Clinton to respond to the attacks as we are getting overrun by gunfire from foreign forces. President Hillary, it is now 7 hours, and she's finally going to speak. We think Washington has been overrun. Jiminy crickets, you know. Love him or hate him, Trump comes out and says, this is what I'm going to say. Love me or hate me for it, I don't care. This is what I have to say. He came out relatively quickly and said, condemn the actions. His heart goes out to the families and back the police. Hillary, 7 hours later. Swing and a miss. And the big thing is, the other one part that she said was, we must not turn our backs on each other. So basically, she knows that she's going to get lambasted, but don't turn your back on me. Don't blame me for this, even though I was the one, that says we're racist and backing Obama, and he's saying all police are inherently racist. The institution of police force is inherently racist. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, flea-bitten furball. I don't understand the logic behind all this. They're backing a group, a hate group. And as Sheriff David Clark says, they are no different than the KKK. They're no different. They're along the same lines. But except for you have a president that's inviting Black Lives Matter into the White House. If a president invited, heck, you got some that are speaking nicely about Trump, and the news media is flipping the hell out, making false accusations on Trump, because David Duke said something nice about him. There is no difference between the KKK and the Black Lives Matter. They're both hate groups. Both started by the Democrat Party, and both being used by the Democrat Party to intimidate blacks and to intimidate Republicans into voting Democrat. Funny how history repeats itself. But no one's lambasting the Democrats on backing Black Lives Matter. Trump disavowed any of the support from KKK. We don't talk about Hillary, who said how Senator Byrd was a great senator and wanted to be like him and so forth and so on, hugging and kissing him, as he was a freaking KKK member himself. Did I just say KKK? K? The triple K. I don't get it. The double standards that are going on within the Democrat Party, it's definitely do as I say, not as they do. And as I said, Obama was warning Republicans after the Baton Rouge attack, we don't need inflammatory rhetoric. In other words, as I said, don't blame me. Don't point the finger at the Democrats because of our actions have caused these police shootings. It amazes me. But yet, if the roles were reversed, Obama would be the first one out there to lambaste the Republicans, especially during a election year. There's not a damn Democrat out there that wouldn't try to lambaste the Republicans if the roles were reversed. Somehow I got ants all through this room. I'm going to have to set off like a fog in here. As of right now, we don't know the motivation of the killer. It just amazes me how blind he tries to portray these incidents. Ray Charles could see the motivation of the killer. Ray Charles could see the motivation of the Dallas killer. Ray Charles could see the motivation of the Orlando killer. Kel, it's Florida. There's sand everywhere. Sorry, I had to be a smartass. We've had a lot of rain lately, which pushes the ants inside. I got to find their path in and kill them. Yes, I'm an ant racist. I want to kill them all. Sorry, Cal. Yeah, the soil here is really weird. It's a sandy soil mixture, and it's hard to grow stuff in. Oh, so Hillary Clinton right now is speaking at the NAACP convention. Anybody find the irony that she's speaking there now? Yeah. I don't even want to listen to it. I will be screaming my head off. In an apparent premeditated ambush in Baton Rouge, this madness has to stop. Oh, yes, that's such conviction she's saying it with. It's... Sorry, I'm looking and I'm reading about her rhetoric that she is spewing. I don't know, I gotta... I'm not repeating that one, Cal. It's been... we've had... I really haven't even talked about the attack in Paris. I think, 84 people killed? It's... And you have Obama, well, we don't know the motivation, why he did it. Man... You don't know the motivation of anything. Why? Because it's making your administration look like idiots. You're weak. You have not been right about one thing, except the day you took office and you said you were going to fundamentally change America. It's the only thing you've been right about, Mr. President. And no, I was actually thought at that time that you could do something. God, was I wrong. God, was I an idiot that I fell for your rhetoric bullshit. I will admit when I'm wrong and that I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that. But I'm not going to not speak up. And it's being reported that hundreds of thousands of bikers have descended on Cleveland to help protect the convention. Bikers for Trump have been protecting him and going to these rallies to stop the rhetoric, stop the protesting. An ABC poll finds 72% think Hillary's too willing to bend the rules. 72%. I've never seen a poll that high before when it comes to politics. Her own party thinks she's willing to break the rules. She's willing to bend the rules. Yeah, police are gravitating towards Trump too. You got Democrats are gravitating towards Trump. The only one that's speaking about America is Trump. Hillary's talking about, this. And now she's talking about the death of Alton and the other guy. And how we may need to make changes to policing and criminal justice. And she's still pushing the narrative of blacks are being killed at a higher rate. She's still pushing the false narratives. I cannot believe after all the facts that are coming out, she's still pushing that false narrative. And that blacks are afraid of police. If they're so afraid of police, why are they out protesting in such high number? They can't be that afraid if they're out there protesting in that high of a number. So don't tell me they're afraid of police because they're out there in the public around the police. I'm the majority of the country is against this Black Lives Matter and these lies that are being pushed by the Democrat Party. But they're so stupid that they keep pushing. People are waking up. People are switching parties. There's more going from the Democrat to the Republican daily. And the ones that are going from the Republican to the Democrat, adios, see ya. In fact, I saw, again, little bunny foo-foo. She's blaming Trump for the division in the Republican Party, and it's his fault. I hate to tell the little witch that the ones that are causing the division are you never Trumps. You're the only ones that are dissatisfied. You're the only ones that are upset. You're the only ones acting like the little children. You're not a conservative. You're not even a rhino. And anymore, your rhetoric, I just laugh at. You wouldn't be able to spew the crap that you do if you didn't have your following where people descend and attack anybody that speaks against you. You were no better than the Democrats that are spewing the hate. These never Trumps like little Miss Bunny Foo-Foo are no better than Hillary. I don't consider you or accept you as a conservative. I can say I'm the Pope. Doesn't make me the Pope. Your actions tell me that you, Miss Bunny Foo-Foo, and your following of minions are a joke to me. And what does she do? She blocks you, and then her horde of minions come running to her defense because she is so weak she can't even defend herself. Great pundit, isn't she? Hillary Clinton's still going on that the police departments like Ferguson need to be held accountable for what? Because a gentle giant charged the police, attacked him, tried to take his gun from... He tried to take the gun away from the cop and kill him with his own gun? She's going on, and she thinks it's smart to speak out against police a day after 3 cops were just murdered. I guess her focal group didn't tell her. That's not smart. And with that, it's the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Please go to Reaver.1/shop. Check out the t-shirts. Check out the bumper sticker. And until tomorrow, have a great, safe day. Dang it. I hate when I don't have everything queued up. 11 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.